Hello, 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 and welcome to Good News at Primetime. I am Sylvia Hayes. I am one of the hosts for today. We have just finished with a whole month of Black history. I have learned so much for this month. Well, last month now because today is the first. Today is the 1st of March. So last month I learned a lot. A lot of people have shared their history with me, share their knowledge with me. So I have learned a lot. And so I want you guys to continue to learn your Black history because it is so important. There are things in there that happened that you never would have thought about. It is so much. And stuff like I've learned hush puppies. Do you know where hush puppies came from? Okay. Back in slavery, hush puppies came back, was created in slavery. What they would do is take the cornmeal and fry it, right? And so after they fry it, they would use it when they were running away, and they would throw the ball. They would ball it up in balls and fry it. They would throw those balls of cornmeal out so the dogs can be thrown off the trail. Okay, so it was a way to deter them from catching them. That's where hush puppies come. And then they was called, what were they called? Hush puppies? They weren't called hush puppies. They were called, I'm going to tell you what they were called. And I'm not going to tell you. It was just balls of cornmeal. I did have that written down, but I forgot what it was. But that's what it is now, hush puppies. You know, they were, because it was hush the puppies. Okay? So hush puppies, and that's where it came from. But we have so much. We want to talk about a little bit about Black History Month and things we learned. And also, this is Women History Month. March is Women History Month. So we have to learn a lot about women in history because there is so much. You know that if it wasn't for the women, a lot of things wouldn't have happened. Because you know what they say, behind every successful man is a woman. And there are a lot of women out there who push these men to be where they are. And there are a lot of women out there who push themselves to be where they are, to make success, to make progress, to invent things, and just stand on their own 2 feet. Women have it hard. They really do have it hard because they're like second class to men. And that's sad because I remember a time where if a woman wanted a job and her husband didn't want her to have it, she couldn't have that job. If she went and applied and that man go up there and say, don't hire her, they wouldn't hire because the man is in control. The employers do what the man say rather than this woman want a job. So it's a lot. They control everything. And men are still trying to be in control. They're trying to be in control of our bodies right now. These are our bodies. We have to take care of them, but men going to tell us what to do with them. They have no idea what's going on with us, but yet and still they want to control it. You know I'm talking about this birth control thing. And they want us to have all these babies and stuff, and they don't understand how women who are pregnant, sometimes they can't even eat because, you know, they get sick. They can't smell certain foods that make them throw up. Some women lay in bed all the whole time they're pregnant because, you know, of this. You know, men do not know what women go through, but yet and still they want to control them. Women lose their lives. You at your closest to death when you're giving birth to a child. So, and men don't think about that. When they get a toothache, they laying up in the bed. A toothache, man laying up in the bed. So why would they even? It's mind-boggling, you know. Cause women, I can't say it's a bit much, okay, for them to even want to control. But we have some successful women. So we're going to talk about women this month, and we're going to do this conclusion on Black History Month. But before we get started on that, of course, we got the good news as well. And the good news is Power Thoughts. No, my book, Power Thoughts, empowering you to be successful in life. I got to put that up there too. Empowering you to be successful in life. This book is really good. I have students who are saying, that book has helped them a lot. The stuff in the book has helped them a lot. It has made people have higher self-esteem, made people think, oh yeah, I can do this. Give them that energy, that go get it, I mean, attitude. It's a good book. So you can get that book at ANKProductions.com. ANKProductions.com. Just an A and then another AND and a K, then productions.com. You can get that book, Power Thoughts, and it's ebook as well as a hard copy. So that is that. During Black History Month, I found out something. I knew, living in the South, you know about different people, right? So like Benjamin E. Mays, I knew about him. I know he's an educator. He was the president of Morehouse College, and he did a lot of other things. They have a street named after him, Benjamin E. Mays Street. They have a school named after him. The man was fantastic, and he held a lot of degrees. He held a lot of degrees. And then as I was reading, it was talking about, then it mentioned his wife, Sadie. I'm going, Sadie? Sadie? I know that Sadie. And then I looked it up. It was Sadie G. Mays. His wife was Sadie G. Mays. And if you live here in Atlanta, Sadie G. Mays is a convalescent home and a hospice home for the elderly. Okay. And she was that. I mean, that was her. She had a lot of degrees. She taught at Spelman. She taught at Howard. Of course, Benjamin Mays taught at Howard also. It's a lot. They are really educated. Both of them had parents who were slaves, but they weren't slaves, and they did well for themselves. They got their education, even when there was a time when they don't want you to get education, when the time that they were doing everything to keep Black people from getting an education. And sometimes even the parents didn't want them to do it. You do better here helping pick cotton or working in the field or something like that. That was more important than getting an education. But these people saw fit to get an education, and that's what they did, and they rose. They rose. And Sadie G. Mays, she had this convalescent home named after her, and she did a lot. She did a lot, and that convalescent home is still here today. As a matter of fact, the last few months of her life, she was in that home, okay, because they didn't have a home, and it was a convalescent home for the elderly Black people, because they didn't have that for everybody. No, only the privileged could have a convalescent home, but she created this home. She found it for the elderly Black people, and that's where they went to when no one could take care of them. So kudos to Sadie G. Mays and Dr. Benjamin Mays. Of course, both of them were doctors. Both of them had their doctoral degree. And so let's talk about somebody else like Ida B. Wells. Now, when I read about Ida B. Wells, I'm like, whoa, this is my hero right here. To read her strength and her boldness. Ida B. Wells, she was a journalist, okay? So she wrote a lot. She had her own newspaper. And this is one of the things that made her leave the South, because she was born in Mississippi, and she had to leave because of the things she went through. Tennessee, I think she was living in Tennessee. Her friends had a store, okay, and the white people came through and burnt down the store. Of course, they were saying the reason they said and then they put them in jail or something like that, and they put them in jail and then they burnt the store. In any case, the reasoning they had for doing that, it didn't fit with Ida B. Wells, because she knew those people, And so she wasn't going to let that happen. She said, no, that didn't happen. So she started investigating why they hung them, if I'm not mistaken. And she started to investigate, why were they hanging black people? What excuses were they giving? And she uncovered a lot of stuff, and she started writing about it. So that got her into trouble right there, because they didn't want that out. Okay. She knew that black people were being hung for no reason. And the reason they got rid of those two people, because their businesses were successful. And black people cannot be successful. They're gonna take it, they're gonna shoot you, they're gonna hang you, burn your business down, or something. They do not want black people to be successful. And that's what they were doing. And Ida B. Wells found out about it, and she wrote about it. And as a matter of fact, she was one of the first people to get thrown off of a train, because her parents died, and she was living in Tennessee, going back and forth from Tennessee to Mississippi. Um, and she was on the train, and they wanted her to get up and give her seat to somebody else, and she said, no, I paid for this first class seat, or whatever it was. And she said, I'm not going to move. And they tried to make her move. The conductor came and tried to pull her out of the seat, and she bit his hand. And then he left and went back and got some more people. It took 3 or 4 people to get her off that train. And then after they got her off, then she sued them. Of course, she won, but then it was overturned, and they took it back. But she fought. She fought. It's like she paid for this seat, and she's not going to give it up to them. And she was really a tough woman. Got to say woman. She was really tough, and I was really proud of her, because she did the suffrage movement. She also was one of the founders of the NAACP. She was also one of those. So she did a lot. And we had another woman whose name was Toni Stone. She was one of the first black females that played professional baseball. And this was long time ago. I don't have a date on there, but Toni Stone was one of the first females to play professional baseball. And this is in a man's world, so she played. There was a lot of things. So we have my co-host, Mr. Reggie Drama here. So Reggie, how are you right now?
Doing great. It's awesome. We're going from Black history right into Black women history, Black in particular Black women history. And I thought of when you said Sadie Mays, Sadie, that was where Fred V. Man Watson
Yes, it was.
spent his yes. So we know a lot about her center over there, and a lot of her work that she's done in Atlanta, and that was powerful.
Yeah, bet you didn't know that, did you?
Didn't know that. See, little known facts. That's why we got to keep the tempo going. We got to share things that our people have done, and some of the conflicts, and then even today, we got Kamala Harris, Vice President. We've got a possible Supreme Court Black female coming up. We've got when you look at other positions, sometimes we don't bring her up, but Condoleezza Rice.
Bring up what now?
Condoleezza Rice.
Oh yeah.
She's from Alabama girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
Yes,
we look at it's a lot of them. Shirley Chisholm. What's that? Barbara Jordan.
Yep.
Stacey Abrams.
Shirley Chisholm was the first woman to run for president.
Yeah.
So she in the history, a lot of people didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people didn't know that. And Madam C.J. Walker. The
Ooh,
first
yeah.
millionaire, woman millionaire. So we got some history makers in there. So let's talk about, since you mentioned the appointee for the judge. You know that a lot of people do not want her to be judge, right? Yeah,
Ooh,
and
wonder why.
yeah, because she black. And the thing is, they talk about her qualifications. And a lot of
Uh-huh.
those people who've been judges, some of them have not been to law school. A lot of them have not been judges, but yet and still, this woman has been a judge. She's been in law school. She have all the qualification that a lot of these other judges don't have. And yet and still, they're going to say she's not qualified. They don't think she's qualified to do it.
Well, one thing, if she was a conservative uh, judge, she probably would have no problem. One of the things that when you look at the Republicans, what they're trying to do, they're trying to maintain that conservative, position on the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if she was, you take Clarence Thomas. If she was, I can't think of too many black female judges that are real as hard conservative as Clarence Thomas. See, he would not have a problem because he's a conservative and he always vote or put himself in a position where he's going not towards the liberal position.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is,
Oh,
I think a lot of it is male domination.
that's
So,
one thing. Well, they've had some female judges. When you think about it, uh, and for if she was a little bit more, she's not. She's considered more liberal. You know, uh, even a moderate female judge, black female, would be difficult. Yeah, I think under this republic, but I think we're gonna get one. They just gonna have to go through the process. And
mm,
uh, we got some local. I forgot. We got a lot of local women that are really always making progress. Stacey Abrams' sister was in the running. So they got a deep pool of women. You look at there are many judges that could come up if they don't you know pass her or approve her.
yeah, yep. There are a lot of a lot and qualified women too. A lot of
Oh
qualified
yeah, well
women.
a lot of sisters. We got a lot of judges. We got judges here in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Many. Um, we've got a lot of people. Uh, Matter of fact, she's not in the on that short list, but even what's the Fulton County? I think that's Fulton County DA Fannie Han. Um, I can't think of her last name right now, but we had her on interview her when she was first running for DA.
Fanny, Fanny,
Yeah,
Fanny.
I can't
I,
think of her last name, but she's a Fulton County DA. And
Fanny.
she was the first elected DA, black female in Fulton County.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got some history makers. You think about Shirley Franklin, uh,
Mm-hmm.
first mayor. Then we got Keisha Lance Bottom. She became our second uh, black female mayor. Uh, so we got a lot of black females in Congress here in Georgia on the uh, state level and on the city council. We got a lot of women making a lot of moves. So we got a lot of local people that are putting their mark on history right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, oh, I'm sorry about that.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh,
They talk
but
about Thomas Jefferson. Yeah,
okay,
that's what that was.
okay. Well, Thomas Jefferson. I forgot the sister. Who's the sister? Uh, when you anytime you bring up Thomas Jefferson, her name comes up. Helms. What was her
Um,
name?
what
I
is
think
Thomas
she
Jefferson?
was. Yeah,
Okay.
Thomas.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting mixed up with
Yeah,
Washington.
Thomas Jeff. Yeah, he fathered several children from her.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so she's like, that was important. You
Yeah.
think about a lot of our black women, and not just to stay around slavery, uh, but I think we sent something out not too long ago. Jimmy Carter is related to Berry Gordy.
No.
Yep, Jimmy Carter's great 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 granddaddy was last name Gordy,
Uh-huh.
and he took a black woman, whether it was consensual, but back in that time, it was not consensual,
Yeah.
and she was a Gordy, and that was Berry Gordy's great 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 grandmama.
Mm.
Yep. So
Okay.
by they say they are uh Jimmy Carter, because his I think they say they're cousins twice removed or something like that. But if you
Uh-huh.
look at I think we'll send that out there. But if you look at the family tree, the Gordys are related. You know, from that. A lot of times when you look at black people in history, uh, we call a distant cousins. Everybody's got a distant white cousin.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yep, I
we
got
was
some too.
yeah, because
Yeah.
because what happened, so uh by whether and a lot of it was because of rape. uh Slave masters took advantage of slave women, black women,
Mm-hmm.
and
But you know
impregnated them,
what?
and
They still did that. I know back in the 60s they had this law where white men could have their way with the women and nothing can be done about it. I mean, if because I know about this doctor who in
hmm
Florida he would have sex with this woman whenever he wanted to. The husband had to leave the house or do whatever. But the husband could not do anything about it. And this woman actually
mm.
had children by this white doctor, and
Oh yeah.
and she actually shot him. You know, she actually
Oh,
shot him because I think when she shot him, she was pregnant again. So I'm
okay.
not sure she was pregnant by him or her husband, but
Wow.
he would just go in there and have his way. And this was down in Florida. I forgot what part of Florida it was, but that was happening down there. That was like in the 60s, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken, 50s, 60s. If I'm not mistaken, that's when that was happening. Women
Wow.
still didn't have control of their bodies. Men
Right.
still dominated. The white male still dominated. You know, and that's bad. You
Right.
know,
Well,
even
uh,
after the turn of the
even
century, we still having that problem.
you know, uh, even in spite of all that, all those challenges, our women have been able to do big things. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Mary McLeod Bethune started Bethune Cookman down in Florida. Uh, Started university, started educating black and brown people. You look at many of our early contributions were in the areas of education, and then we went from civil rights, and in other areas. Even when you look at some of our women had a double dip. Not only were they entertainers or sports people, they had to, they had to stand up for our rights. Eartha
Yeah.
Kitt, Eartha
Yeah.
Kitt was kicked. you know, Eartha Kitt. I have. I know we look at her from singing Santa Baby and Catwoman,
Mm-hmm.
but Eartha Kitt, she put Lady Bird Johnson in check,
Oh, did
and
she?
they ran her out of the country.
Mm.
Eartha Kitt couldn't get a job. She was, I don't want to say blackballed. She was whiteballed.
She was white ball. Yeah.
She was whiteballed. She had to go over across the water to get work. See, anytime Nia Simone, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people when they spoke out, what's that? Billie Holiday, Strange Fruit,
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
what I was about to
the uh,
say.
the
Yeah.
the the hangings, all the hangings that took place in the United States. So a lot of women spoke out, and they were, kicked aside. They couldn't get work, couldn't do a lot.
Reprimanded for it.
Yeah, got
Yeah.
slapped.
Yeah, they did. And then they didn't want them to do anything. They didn't want women to do anything. So like Bessie Coleman, she wanted to be an airline pilot. And they
Oh
would not
yes, yes,
teach her here in the States. So she had to go to France to learn how to be a pilot. And she got her
right,
international pilot, the first woman, black woman, I know, probably the first woman too, to get a pilot license to fly.
mm,
And she was real good at it. She
right.
was real good at that. So, there's a lot of history in there, a lot of history. Um, yeah, and just to recap on some of the things that did not have talk about in the thing we did Saturday, the trivia.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, the trivia was awesome. I enjoyed that and learned a few things. The people who watched it, they learned it. So
We
I'm
do
trying to.
want a rematch.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna do one. We're gonna do Women History Month at the end of this month. I'm sort of like
Oh,
getting addicted to this thing, this history and trivia. I kind of like doing that. I'm going, okay, we're doing Women History Month, and then Juneteenth is coming along, so maybe we can do something again there. I don't know,
okay,
or just famous mothers. That would be a good one. Famous mothers or famous fathers or big mothers and fathers or whatever. Mothers and fathers that stood out. Do a tribute on that
right.
or something. I don't know. But who knows? But one of the things that did not come out in the trivia thing was Charles Drew. Yeah, you
Mm,
remember him? He was the one that invented the blood plasma and blood transfusion and all of that kind of stuff.
mm-hmm.
So that,
Yes.
that was a Black History thing, trivia. And even when he died because they wouldn't allow him in the hospital. He was in a car accident, and they had to drive him from one hospital to another for him to get treatment. They wouldn't allow him in the hospital they went to, because he was Black, and all
Yeah.
the stuff he contributed to the medical field, he was still discriminated against, and
Yeah.
he died, because of that.
Right. Well, you look at a lot of we made some major contributions to America,
Mhm.
and in spite of how America has treated us, over the years, America has not been it hadn't been a super good relationship at at many times, even today, but it's better. Even in spite of all the odds, in spite of all the things that were set up against us, our people have survived, especially the women. When you look at when it comes down to movies, when it comes down to entertainment, it comes down to sports, it comes
Mhm.
down to the education system, when it comes down to the medical field. Uh, all sorts of things. We made major contributions, and we continue to make major contributions. There are women today uh, doing big things.
Yep.
You're a lady out there doing big things. You're an author. You're out there putting your work out there. Uh, we've got there's there's a lady that just came into Atlanta, and she started a big studio down in Fayetteville. She'll
Mm-hmm.
she'll be doing movies and things of that nature. Uh, so we've got a lot of women making major uh, contributions.
Yep. You're right. And I was looking at one here when we're talking about the pilots. Gloria Twine Chisholm, she developed protective eyewear for the pilots.
Wow.
That's a woman. So like the
Mm.
goggles they be wearing when they're flying the airplanes, she
Right.
designed that wear eyewear for them.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
There are a lot of contributions of women, especially black women,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and just like when we look at Black History Month, um, we have to look at um, if we don't keep it out in the forefront, just like we encourage people to play games with their families, just like we
Mm-hmm.
did the trivial. You don't have to wait until somebody makes a trivia game. You don't have to wait until somebody tells you how to celebrate your history. You don't have to wait until somebody puts something in front of your face. You can do the research just like we did and put things together. Uh,
Yeah.
look at, I want to call another entertainer, uh, Whoopi Goldberg. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Whoopi uh, recently made a comment, and I don't know if she's back on the air or what, but one of the things she did say, she said that Germany, the conflict between the Germans and the Jewish people of Germany it was a civil war,
Mm-hmm.
and they put it in time out. Now,
Because
right
she said it
now,
was a civil war.
yeah, she said it was yeah, it was a conflict between people,
Yeah.
like people. Anytime you get people that are the same, like the United States had a civil war. You look
Yeah.
at what's going on in the Ukraine now, that's a civil war.
Yeah.
Those are all of them are Russian people. Just ideologies are different. But Whoopi Goldberg has made a lot of contributions. We look at it from Color Purple, The Ghost. What's the uh, the movie where she played the choir lady or something? Uh, she's a
Sister Act.
sister act.
Sister
Yeah,
Act. Yeah. I saw
yeah.
both
So
of them and enjoyed them
okay,
both.
okay. So
Yeah.
we got a lot of women that have played some important roles. What, Halle Berry? Didn't Halle Berry
Mm-hmm.
get an Academy Award? Now it wasn't, we say it wasn't the best movie, Monster Ball, but she got an Academy Award. Uh, what's Hattie McDaniel?
Yeah, Hattie
Uh,
McDaniel, first black woman to get an Oscar, but yet and
mm-hmm.
still she couldn't even go to the premiere of the movie she was in.
Oh yeah, yeah. They was nasty.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They
Not
was.
that one
Yeah.
was bad. It's
Oh,
like,
it was
dang.
kind of bad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the sad thing is, they were discriminating against black people then, and they still doing it. Cause I was watching. I'm getting these bits and pieces of Ukraine. They won't let the black people out. One
Ooh.
woman said they made her get up out of her seat, threw her off the bus, a bus or train, one of them, and said it's only for Ukrainians. Only Ukraine people can leave. She had to
Mm.
get off. And a lot of the black
Well,
people are stuck in Ukraine. and they won't let them into Poland and some of these other places. But they'll let
Whoa.
the Ukrainians out. They're discriminating big time over there, and that's sad.
Mm.
That's sad. Of course, some of the kids, some of the people there, they were there to get an education, right? But and
Right. Right.
their passports and stuff is locked up in the school, and so they can't
Wow.
get it. But then there are some people
Whoa.
who want to leave, and they won't let them leave because they're
Mm.
black. It's for the Ukrainian.
Wow. Well, there are always some disparities going on around the world, but in spite of
Mhm.
that, we still move forward. We still make stuff happen. I think about another black contributor, Marian Anderson. She was the
Mhm.
first black person to perform at the Metropolitan Opera. You know, uh, we got a lot of black. My Dr. Maya Angelou.
Maya
You know,
Angelou.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. I
We
love her work. Yeah,
yeah,
I
Coretta
love.
Scott King. Uh, we had a lot of powerful, you know, black women that have. Well, we got to throw it in there. Uh, Michelle Obama.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, Michelle is a very powerful woman. And it's sad to say that we have people who envy her and hate her because of what she do and her strengths and attributes. And that's sad. And you know
Hmm.
what really ticks me off? They talk about, okay, a black woman cannot go to work with her hair braided up or wear dreads or something because it's unprofessional, you know.
Mm.
But yet and still, you see white people braiding their hair and try and wearing dreads. And have you ever seen
Oh,
some of the dreads? They really look nasty.
well, what's that? What's that movie? 10. What's that? What's that lady? Bo Derek. Remember that? Remember her?
Yeah. Well, she had a couple of braids in her hair.
Yeah. Remember the movie 10 back in the day?
I don't really remember, to be honest. I don't.
You don't remember the movie 10? Bo Derek. Uh, she was wearing those dreads.
Yeah, well, that's all I remember. I remember seeing her with some dreads in her hair. Well, braids. It was braids, right? Not
Well,
dreads.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just that picture. That's the only thing I can remember. I don't remember anything else. Yep, but you know, but it's amazing how they want to change it. If our culture has to be conformed to their culture, whatever they want, whatever their culture is, that's how we're supposed to do. And if we're not conforming to their culture, and then we're wrong and out of place, it's
Right.
like, why do I have to act white in order to be accepted? That
Ooh.
I don't accept that. But yet
Hmm.
and still they want us to conform to their ways and their culture, and yet and still they are trying to change themselves to be like us, get tans, get injections in their butt, big lips,
Oh yeah.
braid their
Well,
hair, all this other stuff to be like us, but yet and
well,
still we are not
we
good
are the
enough, huh?
we are the models. We are the models for society. So when you look at that, people gonna try to be like us.
Yep, they are. And
Okay,
then
we can't
they
stop that.
take the success we have, the inventions, and claim it as their own. Yeah, I'm the
Yeah,
master, so I own this invention. I get the
yeah,
credit for it, not you. A
yeah.
lot of that went on. I'm even a victim of a white man taking an invention and making money off of it.
Uh oh.
I'm a
Talk
victim
to
of it.
me.
It hurt me to my heart and couldn't do anything about it. you know. But they do that kind of stuff, and then have the nerve to
What
say,
happened?
one
What
man had the
happened?
nerve to say that black people are jealous because they have generational wealth and we don't. You
Well,
know,
well,
and I'm going,
well.
damn, how do you think you
What?
got your
What?
generational wealth? But off of
What? What?
off the backs of black people.
What invention did they take from you?
The burping pad. So have
Of
you ever
what?
seen? The burping pad is a garment protector. It's a little piece you throw it on the shoulder to keep the babies from throwing up on you. You seen some of those?
Okay.
Yeah, I
No.
invented that way
Well,
back in 80 something. Yeah, but
wow.
they, huh?
I said, wow.
Yeah, I invented it, and they took it. Dundee, I tell you who it was. Dundee baby products. But Dundee is not in
Okay.
business no more. Somebody else have that company now, so it's not
Oh,
Dundee anymore. But they're the ones who did it. Dundee used to make the diapers, the blankets, and bibs, and all this other stuff for babies. That's what Dundee did.
wow.
They took my invention, and put it on the market. But
You
and
know
I
what?
did everything in my power to protect myself before I gave it to him, but it didn't
Hmm.
work.
It didn't
I
work.
had them signing papers and sending it back to me, getting it notarized and everything, but they still took
Wow.
it, put it on the market. You
Well,
know,
you probably
and
you
then when
probably
I got
need to.
a lawyer, the lawyer told me to stop making my product. Told me to stop
Wow.
making it.
Mm.
That's a hurting feeling. And then when you go to church a couple years later and you see your
Uh-huh.
pad on somebody's shoulder,
Because I
I
know they
broke
burping
down.
a lot of babies. You
Huh?
know, I know they burp. I know they burping a lot of babies. That burping
Yeah.
pad, you know, that's probably something. You know, goodness, I never heard of one. I don't burp any babies. Uh, but I'm pretty sure if I was burping babies, that would be I would have used your pad.
Yeah. It,
Okay.
it, it was it was a good one because you put it up there to keep baby from throwing up on your clothes, you know. So
Okay.
that was my
Well.
invention.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Okay. I know we on Black History, but I was pulling up some historical women. Now, I know it's a lot of Black women that have been hung, and we talk about hangings of Black males, but a lot of Black women have been hung and mutilated all through history. But there was a white woman that was hanged for her part in killing Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
I didn't
I
know
mean,
about that
yeah. Her name was Mary Surratt. Mary Surratt, Mary Elizabeth Jenkins Surratt was an American boarding house owner in Washington D.C. who was convicted of taking part in the conspiracy which led to the assassination of U.S. President Abraham Lincoln in 1865. Sentenced to death, she was hanged and became the first woman executed by the U.S. federal government. Wow.
one.
They hung a white
Okay.
woman. Yeah, for her part. We always, I just show you when we talk about history, when we talk about what's the thing, uh but when they talk about they call it rewriting here history, but it's just bringing history to truth. Now we hear all through school. I was taught that John Wilkes Booth acted alone,
Yeah.
killed Lincoln, but you didn't. One thing about Google, they showing us some things and revealing some things that we did not know. This woman, Mary Surratt, was executed. They hung her. Okay, I guess
Okay.
they hung her
That's
in
my
D.C.
first time hearing that one.
Oh yeah, it's some. When you look at Women History Month, it's some women. When you look at voting rights and the suffrage of women, uh, I forgot what amendment, but when you look at it off the record, white women should have not had a problem voting.
Yeah, you would think so, but
Yep,
they were still
but
servants to the man.
but they had to come back and fight for a right to vote, and this was before the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at these timelines, our people, we were able. Now, black women, black men were able to vote because when you look at Reconstruction, which took place between, I think, 1865 and it lasted about 7 years or more. And
Mm.
you had black men that were elected to Congress. They always say uh, the first black man since Reconstruction. A lot of times we don't talk about Reconstruction.
Right.
See, they erased about 7 to 10 years of black participation in the government structure. And
Hmm.
this can really happen again. This is why uh, Black History Month is important. And to do it year round, to have discussions, because as we talk, we find out things, we share information, and we keep our story in front of us. Nobody else is going to teach you history, your
Yeah,
history.
that's
When
true.
you
And
look
you
at
know what? When you say since Reconstruction, a lot of people they go deaf to Reconstruction and they just hear first black man. The first black.
uh,
They totally ignore since Reconstruction because before Reconstruction, you had a lot of black people who held office. A
right, yeah,
lot of them.
oh yes,
You know, but then after that Reconstruction thing,
you
that's when
had,
they're trying to
and,
weed them out.
and guess who had more people, black folk in office than any other state?
Who?
Mississippi.
Really?
Yep,
Mm.
your state, Mississippi. Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
See, if we don't uh, if we don't do our research and have discussions, guess what?
But
We'll be gone. But 100 years from now, it'll be blotted out. Even about the presidency, you say, well, who was president number 44? Once the United States get up to about 200 presidents, who knows? They might just stop if
yeah.
if the world
Well,
don't
they
end.
trying to block out our history already anyway, and
Oh
there's so
yes,
much history there that's not being told, and they don't want us to know. There's a
right.
lot of history, so somebody gonna have to tell. No, we got
Well,
to
that's
keep
why
the
we
history in our forefront. I mean, it's part of our heritage. If you
right.
don't know where you
Well,
came from, how you gonna know where you're going?
well,
And
that's why
if you forget about the past, you're gonna repeat it in the future.
right. Well, that's why we have to do a lot of word, uh, mouth to mouth to
Yeah.
ear teaching. We have to talk. When you look at in Jewish culture, now they don't teach. The only people we learned about in my history books about Jewish people was Anne Frank,
Mm.
the Diary of
Dario
Anne
and
Frank.
Frank.
Now, Jewish people teach their own people the history. That we if you depend on somebody else to tell your story, this it's like a deer or a lion depending on the hunter to tell the story. The hunter's gonna always have a better story, and it's gonna
Yeah.
always edify the hunter. You know,
Yeah. And you know what? When you mentioned that made me think about fish tales. No, when they finish with a fish story, man, that fish is this long, if not 5 feet long. You know, by the
yep,
time they
yep,
finish
yep.
with it, they keep telling it over and over again. But yet and still, our history it dwindles. We
Well,
didn't exist.
we you got to ask whose fault is that. Now we have to bear some responsibility.
Yeah,
Okay, if in your family you don't spend time talking to your family member, I know sometimes it irritates them. For instance, for 28 days, I sent, my top 30 people in my family a Black history lesson every day,
Mm.
every day
Yeah.
for 28 days. Now, we had conversations, we'll talk about all kind of stuff to avoid talking about ourselves.
Yeah. And you know what? Some of the seniors is so painful. Some of the history that they had to endure is so painful. They
Oh
don't
yeah.
want to relive it and don't want to tell anybody. But
Well,
then there are people who ancestors went through the Tulsa thing. And this man said, "Whoa, I'm from Tulsa. Why come I never heard of this?" You know, they didn't tell because
oh
some stuff is too painful and they don't want to relive it.
yeah. Well, and that's one reason our history, because even when you look at now here in Georgia and throughout the South, when you look at the daughters of the Confederacy, whether you like them or not, these women have passed down the history of the Confederacy since the Civil War. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they don't talk about, oh Lord, I just can't talk about it. They erect statues, they clean the statues up. A lot of times in our communities, because we have a trauma. Black folk have been traumatized. So when you're traumatized, you don't like to talk about your history. I want to share this real quick. You ever heard of a lady? Her name is Sally Bernice Bell.
No.
Now she might not mean nothing to a lot of people, but she's from Albany, Georgia.
Uh-huh.
Now, uh, when you think about it, she moved to upstate New York. She's from Albany, Georgia. You know who her sons are?
Who?
We know them as the Isley brothers.
The Isley brothers?
Ronald Isley, Marvin, Ernie. Well, Ronnie and Marvin, Ronnie and Ernie are the only living ones. But she's
Uh-huh.
from Albany, Georgia. She was
Oh,
born in
really?
1915. She died in 1988. Her name is Sally Bernice Bell.
And the Isley brothers are her children?
Those are her sons.
Oh. Oh, okay.
I'm from Albany, so I had to drop that Albany history on you. Everybody don't come from Mississippi. Yeah, we got some folk down in Albany. Patty
Yeah.
LaBelle is from Albany,
Yeah.
and Ray Charles.
Yeah. Ray Charles is from Alabama. I mean, Georgia too.
Albany. Don't just say Georgia.
Okay. Albany. Excuse
Albany.
me.
We got the Ray Charles park down there. Yeah, we got some stuff. Yeah, but you think about it, our contributions, and it's nobody else's job. I know we're getting into women history month, but there's a lot of folk musicians come out of Georgia. Little Richard, Jane Brown, Otis Redding, you know, uh, all come out of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's gonna be up to us to share, our story. We can't depend on nobody else to tell our story.
Right.
And I know sometimes we want it. Like I said, you go into the um, in the Jewish culture or any other culture, Irish people, you don't see a lot about Irish folk in history books.
No.
You don't see a lot about Italian people in history books. They tell their stories to their children, and it
Mm.
starts, and they know it. Matter of fact, if we spent more time teaching our children, we say once you know the truth will set you free. But once I thought about Viola Davis too. She's making history now. But once you don't allow somebody else to tell your story, uh, you don't have to worry about missing out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If most of us got enough history in our family, if you go 4 generations back, you'll find out that if any of us went 4 generations back, we'll find out that our great 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 grandmama was raped by a
Mm.
white man. All
Yeah.
families, all that's one common thread. I want to share. You ever heard of Lucy Harris?
No.
Lucy Harris, and now I think she's from Mississippi.
Lucy Harry.
She was the first woman drafted by the NBA.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, she was holding down camp.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh.
she was a basketball legend pioneer. She just recently died. She's from Mentor City, Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she
Cool.
was drafted by the New Orleans team back in I think 1977. New
Yeah.
Orleans Jazz.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we
Yep.
have a lot of sports women like not Jesse, Jackie Joyner Cursor. No, shoot, Serena
She's from
Williams.
Mississippi.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm just saying women, women who are making
Flojo.
history. Yeah,
Oh yeah, a
women
lot of
making
women making
history,
history.
have made history. Serena Williams,
Yeah.
Misty Copeland. Have you ever heard of her? She was a ballerina. Yeah.
Okay. Flojo.
Flojo, yep. Simone Biles, and
Yep.
then this girl who just made some history. What's her name?
With the bobsled, and the
Yeah.
other little sister with the skating.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I mean, history is being made right now, and we're looking
Every
at it.
day.
Oh yeah, but are we going to remember that 10 and 20 years from now, so we can tell
Well,
our children and grandchildren?
yes. Well, we have to tell the story. That's why we have to take it upon ourselves. When you look at Cleopatra, Sheba, Queen of Sheba. If
Uh-huh.
we don't tell the story or put it out there, people think that the Queen of Sheba is a white woman, and even Cleopatra.
Yeah. Yeah. The Queen of Sheba. She was the Queen of Ethiopia.
Oh yeah.
The Queen of Ethiopia, but that she don't look like that in the movies.
Nope.
No,
uh,
Moses
you
didn't
know,
look like that in the movies either.
nope.
And it tells Moses was a dark man.
Yeah.
So
And we look at so many, and that's why it's important that we take the time to share, our story.
right,
Figure. And matter of fact, there's a sister. Now, believe it or not, this is a black figure skater. Her name is Sylvia Bonelli. She was a black figure skater 30 years ago. Dressed real sharp.
oh,
So,
okay,
but we'll forget about our history if we shouldn't depend on somebody else telling us, because they'll tell us only about what we call magical Negroes, not
right,
putting Martin Luther King down or Rosa Parks or who the top 5.
right. Yeah, well, we need to know our history because it's being covered by other people, and they're
Oh
not
yeah.
telling the whole truth, about
Well,
things that happen
well,
with us. And so,
well.
you got something else to say? Cause it's time for us to move on out
Oh,
to
we
the
gotta go.
next thing.
But I'll say
Yeah,
this: a lot of people know more about our history than we do,
yeah.
and we got to take it upon ourselves to know about who we are. That's all I'm gonna hold up your own end.
We definitely need to know more about our history, and don't just take that little bit, that they tell us. Because when I was coming up, the only Black history they told me was that Black people were in slavery. That was it. That was it.
Well, your
So
mama and daddy, your mama and daddy should. My granddaddy told me who was the first president.
yeah, yeah. Well, mine
Now I
didn't
didn't
know.
believe him. I didn't believe him
Yeah.
because he was drinking on the back porch and he told us about the first black president. And I was
Okay.
like, man, I went to school and you know nobody brought that guy's name up. And after that, but now I think about a lot of history. My granddaddy told me World War II, 1917, World War One stuff. But anyway, we got IS is there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's there. So it's time for us to go. But I want to encourage you to continue to learn your Black history. Continue to learn about women history because women are so phenomenal. They make the world. You know, the women, they I can't say enough about women, you know, because they see a need and they create. I mean, just like the folding bed. It was a woman that created that folding bed because the apartment was too small to hold a whole bed and to do other things. She created that folding bed so they can have room in their small apartments. And so we have a lot of history. Women have a lot of history, and we have a lot to be proud of. And we cannot let our society be male dominated. Okay, let them tell us about our bodies, tell us about our history, and make us feel like we're subordinate to them. I mean, no, we got to
It's a
stand up.
man's
We
world.
got to stand up and know that we are strong and know that we are somebody and know that we have worth. Women have worth, okay? But until then, I'm going to say goodbye because we're going to see you next week and next Tuesday. Well, next Tuesday. Yeah. Until then, we're going to say goodbye. And don't forget to pick up your book, Power Thoughts, Empowering You to Be Successful in Life at www.ankproductions.com. ankproductions.com. Until then, we're going to see you later. Have a good one.